All right, so Brentford versus Manchester United in the Premier League after what has been a bloody boring, bloody frustrating, and bloody long international break. But that's it for international football until the end of the season, where we have a couple of friendlies and then we kick on to the Euros of the summer. But some teams, it's a blessing for that international break and turn into a bit of a Scot now. Sometimes it's a blessing for some teams. Other teams, it can be a bit of a hindrance because it breaks up a little bit of momentum and what form you had going into international break, it doesn't carry over to the other side. Some teams are absolutely fine with it. They just carry on the way they were beforehand. Um, so yeah, in this video, we're going to be going over the game tomorrow night, 8 o'clock on the Saturday, which is quite interesting. Quite a late kickoff for a weekend day, but it is what it is. It's on a Saturday night, and very very late in the day. So yeah, I think most people will be able to enjoy their Saturdays, especially if you're a Brentford United fan. Brentford or United, I should say, rather than Brentford United. That's probably a terrible thing to call Brentford. Yeah, your Brentford Chester United. That I think they'll probably want to bleach out their ears now after I've said that. But anyways, we get to enjoy Saturday filled with football until we have to then crap the beds, shit the beds with our game last in the day, and it's a tough game. Tough game for Brentford. I'm feeling quite tough myself. Tough. Yeah. Well, I actually feel like a word that rhymes with tough, and that's rough because I've picked myself up a fresh new cold, which is making my throat feel a bit dry, a bit sore, and it's a little bit painful here and there. So I don't know how long I'm going to be able to go on for before my throat decides to give up on me. But we'll go for as long as we can with this. But anyways, it's a tough game for Manchester United. Brentford away, we beat them with a turnaround comeback right at the death of the game with Scott McTominay. Um, you know, deservedly getting titled McTerminator for the entire week for his heroics. You should say, a brace literally at the death of the game. It's not every day that a team can say that one of their less quality players turns it around single-handedly right at the very, very end of the game. So, yeah, maybe that's a sign of things to come. That game finished 2-1 after losing for most of the second half. Yeah, it was 0-0 for most of that game, but I think at that point, elements of frustration about how we were playing, and I don't think too much has changed in those regards, but with the players that we should have available for this game, I feel like there's plenty to be had here, and I think we should approach this game with the similar intention that we had against Liverpool. I know it's away from home. I know it. I get it. Playing Liverpool at home in the FA Cup, a big team, players feel more up for it. They feel more ready. They feel like, yeah, let's go out and play with our pride. A team like Brentford away in the Premier League, people just think, oh wow, yeah, it's an all right away day, isn't it? It's an all right away day, not too fast. The last away day to Brentford, we got battered 4-0, so we've got that to think about, and I think this should be part of the message to the United players going into this game. I think it should be adhered to that 4-0 is still completely and utterly unacceptable. Under no circumstances can you walk into the G-Tech Community Stadium feeling anything like how you did against Brentford last season. I know last season was the second game, 2 games into Ten Hag, and ultimately that turned things around. But I think the idea in mind from these United players is that they should be thinking about not letting anything about that 4-0 from last season be any feature, any factor, any morsel of this game this season. And I think it's important that they prepare themselves appropriately for the test that they face tomorrow night. And it's going to be a test. Listen, Brentford might be on an awful run. Literally, Sheffield United in the last 5 have had a better run of form than them. Literally, the worst form in the league at the moment. 4 losses and a draw. Manchester United, we need to be looking at this and seeing it as an opportunity. Brentford, they're a team that's feeling a little bit down. They've had an international break to think about things and Thomas Frank to come up with some ideas. But United should be still feeling that high from beating Liverpool in the FA Cup and thinking, well, that Liverpool team, a lot of people had us written off. There's some people still writing us off here against Brentford. I know it's the league, I know it's away from home, but the approach and idea in mind and how you go about conducting the business on the pitch, you could fundamentally keep the same. Because if you are giving everything on a football pitch, sure, there will be games where it becomes a factor. You win some, you lose some. But at least we get to sit here at the end of the game and say, well, actually, look at the way things actually were and how the events unfolded on the pitch. You can actually say that those players gave everything they had and just weren't able to quite connect the dots on the day. I don't want us to be, as in the title suggests, sluggish. And I think that's a feat that with a team that's had so much inconsistency this season, that when you come off the back of a strong performance and a great result, you more times than not, above average amount of times, the median sits more towards, that team's going to, that United team's going to drop a level or two. And I really hope not to see that. I hope that there is an upkeep of the standards from that game against Liverpool, that there is a desire to build upon that result. And I know that we've had plenty of times this season where you get a good result. The next game after that, you think, well, surely there's something to build on there. But then it goes the complete opposite way, and you then see us drop some levels, and then we're back to crisis point. Right on the very brink of, it's pretty much breaking point for Manchester United. Oh, it's the end of the season. Oh, it's all over. I'll paint this picture here. Tottenham's next game is against Luton. They play them at home. Potentially banana skin game, but we can hope. Judging that United can actually get their job done puts us up onto 50 points. We are played the same amount of games at the moment as Tottenham have, but Aston Villa and West Ham have both played one game more. So with that in mind, we win our game and Tottenham slip up. We move within 3 points, or we move 2-3 points behind Tottenham Hotspur in 5th place. On 29 games played, it's okay, 6 points behind Aston Villa, but ultimately we move 6 points ahead of West Ham, which are the next team below us in 7th place. So getting 3 points here does quite a lot for us. Does quite a lot in respects to how the table movement goes. It does a lot that it builds a bit of a gap to the next team below us, and we keep the idea and aspirations of trying a seemingly insurmountable task to sneaking into Champions League qualifications for next season. It brings that more into the picture. So these games that we're playing, and we're about to run into a really tough run of fixtures. I think it's Chelsea away after Brentford, and then it's Liverpool coming back to Old Trafford again. So there is a run of tough fixtures coming up, and that cannot be understated. So 3 points wherever we can get them is mission critical. And it's just my biggest concern about this game is that it comes off the back of an international break. So we should be feeling confident. We should be feeling, psyched up, feeling ready to go. Like, yeah, let's get stuck in. Let's go and let's go and fight. Let's go fight these guys and take it to them and come home with 3 points. Let's do it. But it matters entirely on the how with this team. How does United perform? And you could say what kind of Manchester United turns up. And there is plenty of question marks about what we should expect. Um, I believe Brentford have essentially got their first choice attack back fit and available. That is that's Visser on the left and Bomo on the right with Ivan Toney in the team. The rest of the team behind them looks a little bit. Looks like there's a few key parts elsewhere in the team that are missing. So there's no De Silva, supposedly no Rico Henry, no Aaron Hickey, no Ben Mee, no Norgard, no Pinnock, no Serge Reguilon, and no Sade. They think it's Sade or Skade or Scad. I don't know how you even pronounce it. It's the German player, their midfielder, young midfielder. But I mean, we're not really missing much in the way of key pieces. I mean, sure, Sandro Martinez still being out, big miss. Luke Shaw for the left back position, still no real fit left backs at the moment. Casemiro, a doubt, question mark. He might be fit for this game. He is essentially back into contention, question marks about whether he will be inserted in some of the match day squad. Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire also in similar situations. But I think there is a big opportunity to field out, to put out a relatively decent team. Shame for Amad Diallo that he can't play in this game as he got a second yellow card for dunking on Liverpool. And after being on the yellow cards previously for apparently bad conduct on the pitch, and got second yellow and sent off. And as it's the FA Cup, any FA competitions, you get a suspension in one competition, it can filter over into the others. And thankfully, it's only one, but it's a shame because you'd like to see him, go, get further opportunities to sort of stay within the first team picture. So that I'd say is a bit of a shame. Altay Bayindir as well, somehow injured despite not playing any games at all. I mean, I don't know what even happened there, but Tom Heaton to the rescue, right? But it is what it is. But as for the team that we should probably expect, of course, Onana being the obvious choice in goal, I'm thinking that Wan-Bissaka's fit. The fullback should line up with Dalot at left back, Wan-Bissaka at right back. I think Varane fit and available. He most probably starts. Now, I think because Johnny Evans is a question mark, it could be Johnny Evans that starts, or most likely Victor Lindelof at the centre-back position next to Rafael Varane. Casemiro, I think also being a question mark. We don't know whether he's guaranteed to start. I think if Casemiro is not around, Miney we already know, I think is guaranteed to get into the team. Now, whether Eriksen finds his way into the team or Scott McTominay starts next to him, I think Ten Hag will probably opt for Scott. And then Bruno, of course, as allocated as the captain for the team, starting ahead of them. The front three, no Amad Diallo, unfortunately. Sad times, I know. Tragic. But I think as Hoyland is fit and available, um, I think we should probably see a return to Rashford on the left, Garnacho on the right, with then Rasmus Hoyland up top. I would be likely I'd be likely to believe that that's the sort of team we should go with. That I think that's probably what Ten Hag has in mind about this game, as far as ideas for the starting 11 goes. And hopefully we don't get this craziness that is that somebody gets injured on the morning of the game and says, "Well, yeah, he can't travel the matchday squad," and yeah, that would be a real tragedy. So hopefully, touch wood, knock on wood, touch wood, that none of that nonsense happens, and that everybody gets down to the GTEC in full fitness and full health, and that we can put together a solid enough performance to get the job done, to get 3 points, because 3 points is what we need. 3 points is the only um, key factor for tomorrow night, and I'm hoping that we can put the performance together to get the job done. As far as the score prediction, I've already predicted previously on the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, episode 11. We filmed it on Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. and it went on for quite a while. To be fair, they did go on for quite a while, and it was a really good show. And I do recommend people go check it out. It was live both on this channel and also on Early Doors Football TV. Got through quite a lot, quite a lot. A lot of match predictions. We actually covered two sets of games because there are midweek fixtures starting from I think Tuesday through till Wednesday and Thursday. Um, so yeah, we covered an awful lot, including a combined like all three of our combined 11s, um, and picking the favourites as for which player in each position from each of our clubs, and quite a strong team, I would say. If I can remember what the choices of players that we went with, um, I think there was a bit of a biasery with the goalkeeper with the Areola. Of course, I chose Ramsdale in goal. I think we went with what was his face, Emerson at left back. I think it was either Gabriel or Saliba at the left centre back position. We had Varane at right centre back. Right back, I think it was Ben White. I think it was Ben White, or it was close with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but I think ultimately we decided on Ben White there. I think the midfield was Declan Rice, Paqueta, and what was the other player? Wasn't Jorginho? Was it Jorginho? I don't think it was Jorginho. It was somebody else. Somebody else. It wasn't Casemiro. I think it was Odegaard. I think they went with Odegaard, which is. I was thinking more about balance there, but I think just as favourites to having, you prefer to have a more star player in that position, and Odegaard's got a bit more star quality element to him. So that was the thought behind that decision. And then it went with Martinelli on the left, Jared Bowen on the right. Then again, I think they actually chose Saka. Actually, no, the people wanted Saka in that team, but we ended up with Jared Bowen, and then I think it was Rasmus Højlund up top. So yeah, it was a good not predicted 11, but combined 11. It was a good combined 11. Weighing up the pros and cons of which players that we had elected for each position. I also had a second, combined 11 lineup sort of set up with greatest of all time 11 involving three clubs, but we didn't cover that. We didn't cover that part of the combined 11. So all that hard work went to waste. Oh, my heart. But anyways, but yeah, my prediction for this game, as stated on the midweek show of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly show, episode 11, I went with a 2-1 to United. I thought this game is probably going to show signs that United still have some features in their game that we say they must iron out, but they never do. It never goes away. For me, it's like the problems, the toxic problem that keeps coming back into the team. It keeps seeping itself in, muddying up the plans, and ultimately taking us down a peg or two. I think this is a trait of this team that's prevalent um, in many instances, and I just personally believe that Manchester United, maybe we can't get those bad habits out of the team where we seemingly perform well for 10 minutes, but within the same half we become a completely polar opposite team to what we started the game as. I know that's a very, that was a very you know, out there feat about this team. But I look at this and I'm thinking it's not necessarily a game where Thomas Frank's going to switch up the game plan consistently, like roll out the game with plan A, they switch to a plan B, then they'll go into a plan C, and just different phases of the game trying something different. I think Brentford probably have a bit more of a stubborn approach to this game, and probably a very, typical sit a bit deeper, give up the possession element of the game, and try to hit them on the break. And I think that's probably going to be um, the first go-to option, given that they've got the first their best attack available. They'll want to punish us on the break, and that's probably going to be, the prime game plan. And I hope that it's a case that with United, we don't start sluggish, because even though the possession's going to be in our favour, I still think Brentford, they could only need about 5 to 10 minutes of a game to find 2 or 3 goals. And as damning as that is, there's a world that we get 10 minutes into the game and we're already 3 nil down. I mean, what was it, 4 nil down to Brentford within 30 minutes? Like last season? Mental. Like about half an hour in, the scenes of a defeated Manchester United, completely dejected. 3 nil down half an hour into the game, waiting for kickoff because there was a streaker on the pitch. You could see like police running across the pitch whilst everyone's just waiting to kick off to go and end up scoring a fourth. Like it was mad. It was absolutely mad. So there is a world where absolute craziness can happen again. But I look at it and think that there's got to be some sort of responsibility, a responsible element of this team, that they've got to have a part of that game in their minds to think we cannot let that happen again. We've got to ensure that we give everything that we've got this game, and that we walk away from this game with 3 points. And I think that is the parting words for this game. Focus on getting the performances up to scratch, because Brentford will fight tooth and nail tomorrow. So that's it from me. I'm going to get as much rest as possible. I've got work from 12 o'clock tomorrow. I think it's a shorter shift tomorrow, which is going to be a bit different. For me. It's not as long a day. It feels longer though, with shorter hours for some reason. I don't know how it works, but shorter day. Hopefully it goes a bit easy on the throat and all, because working retail, you've got to talk to a lot of people. So my social battery is going to be tested. My vocal battery is going to be tested, and of course, no rest for the weary, because I've then got the match reaction to come. Later on Saturday night. Past 10 o'clock. An 8 o'clock kickoff. It's these are times that I'm not. It's been a while since we've had an 8 o'clock kickoff. Been a while since we've been in Champions League. But anyways, I'm going to love you and leave you. Make sure that you smash the likes. Each like helps my sore throat go away quicker. You want to see your Fuzzy live and well, live and kicking, and dissing every other team in the league. You want to see that Fuzzy, then you know, get this, get this right. This is Cold Bum Fluff 22, right? If you want to see Hot Fuzz 44, get those likes smashed up. This doesn't change until Fuzzy's feeling better. At least that's probably what I should do. Is if I'm under the weather, I should change my name to this so people know it's my alter ego. It's my more dead inside ego um, with absolute nonsense crap that goes on with sore throats and stuff. But anyways, make sure also to leave your thoughts and feelings about this match, your predictions, your lineups, if you so decide to do that. I mean, I keep saying people to put their lineups in as part of just an engagement tactic, but nobody's ever done it. So if you decide to start doing it today, then fantastic. But if not, then it's just another day at the office. But also your match predictions, your score predictions, which everything you'd like to predict, maybe stock exchange movements. You fancy putting a prediction of that in the comment section. I don't know. Maybe a match prediction for another game. Who knows? Who knows? But as I always say with the comment section is your canvas, and you are the artists. Put your emotions in there, and all that good stuff. So, anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching. Take care. Goodbye. We'll see you again about 10 o'clock ish, maybe slightly later, for the match reaction. And hopefully, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that my sore throat hasn't got any worse, because it hurts a little bit to talk, this consistently for this long. Hopefully, it doesn't get any worse. If it gets any worse, I'll probably struggle a bit too hard to be able to speak without being in too much agony. Man flu's tough. Man flu is tough out here. But anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and we'll see you again, hopefully, most likely, tomorrow for the match reaction. See you then. Take care. Goodbye.